What the fuck is that, Vinny Beedle?
What's up, everybody? It's your boy Scumbag Vinny. These folks right here have the biggest scam going. And even the guys
I like the intro
from that were new in the game, I gave them experiences that they would never have gotten, man. And people did. Scumbag Vinny, bro.
And there was like 8 comics on the show, and they all sucked. And he got on stage, and he was like, "Vinny, did you just stop at a red light and say, hey, you want to open for Artie Lang tonight?"
Vinny Beedle's a good man, and we'll be back.
Well, I used to go to concerts when I was a teenager, and I would sell fake tickets to events.
I've made it clear I have no problem that you scammed numerous people.
No. It's such an important part of my background.
If somebody's trying to get into comedy and somebody rips them off so bad that they have
all your
comedy,
enemies are in the
you've
intro.
done them a favor.
This movie needed Vinny Beedle to show up in like a stolen Ford Taurus. What up, it's Bam Margera. Go listen to the best podcast in the world, SCUMTOWN.
Vinny Beedle is who? Compton?
Oh yeah, Compton. You want a fresh piece of shit, man.
You're a bigger scumbag than Vinny Beedle. Yeah, man.
Vinny, I want you to take down the president of town now, or I will have the legal authorities get involved with you.
Now that I found out that this whole thing was a scam, I kind of really like him.
Everybody, we are back. What's up, Lane?
Episode 5.
Episode 5.
First time guest in the house, Ian Ellis.
Ian Ellis LLC. What up? What up, Chi-Town?
Let's get some energy in this motherfucker. I'm tired of these NPR podcasts.
Unbelievable. We got this legend in the building. Ian Ellis LLC, the man himself, is here on Scamming with Vinny. Ian, what is up, bro?
Vinny, what kind of soundbite can I give you for the intro? Do I gotta dox you and call you the N-word? Like, what would be the best way for me to make it in?
I think that there'll be something throughout this episode that Lane will find. You just have to be yourself. I just think that there are so many legendary stories and people around me that the intro's going to end up being the whole podcast. I'll just send people an hour-long intro video that they'll just watch, and then it'll be like my press kit or something.
Big deal. Like, here's an hour of people talking about what a scumbag I am. Like, seriously.
There's a good amount of money talking about me in that intro right there, I'll tell you that.
Well, dude, Bam and Ari are like money in the bank. Unfortunately, nobody knows who Nick Mullen is.
That's true, and there's also a clip in there from Chapo Trap House, the podcast, which on Patreon, I mean, last time I checked, because I'm a money-hungry lunatic, they were making like $175,000 a month on Patreon. It's crazy.
Yeah, but how many people is that? Is that like 60,000 people? Like,
they
realistically?
Yeah, it was something like that. You can go check it. It's all public. You just got to go to their Patreon. Like, their numbers are up.
I feel like Patreon is one of those things where, like, you almost had to hit it at the beginning. I guess maybe Tim Dillon's like an exception to that rule, but like I've seen people. There's a group called The Collective. They're animators, and they've gone super viral like 10 times. And I went and I subscribed to their Patreon, and they're making $9 a month.
Some people don't know how to promote it well.
These have 2.3 million views, and you have 6 people here, and I'm one of them. The fuck?
So when I had a Patreon for SCUMTOWN, I actually got it up to like a few $100s a month, and I was like growing it myself just organically. And then when I gave up on it, everybody unsubscribed except one of my friends. Is still to this day has been paying it for like 2 years. It's like $5 a month.
Oh, I'm going to take Netclose money for the next 25 years. I'm not even putting shit out there. I'm just taking it out of his wallet.
It's like one of those kids that doesn't know how to cancel his subscription, so he's got like HBO coming out every month. He doesn't even have a TV anymore, you know?
I mean, people are still paying for Red Bar. He's been dead for a year now.
It's coming up on a year.
He ain't dead.
Now, what's wrong with him, Ian? He has a poop bag?
He has an autoimmune disease, which is an icky and awful disease to have.
Is that AIDS? Does Red Bar have AIDS?
I actually had to call a doctor friend, and I was like, what is the difference between AIDS and an autoimmune disease? And he had to explain it to me.
What is the difference?
AIDS is like your immune system is dying off. Autoimmune disease is your immune system is attacking you and basically makes your body feel like you're going through like the worst chemo all the time.
sometimes when I get stoned, I just like to pretend like I'm a robot and nothing bad is going to ever happen to me health-wise. And then I just get up and I realize how fat I am. And I'm like, wait a minute, this is all coming to an end very soon. Like there's a time bomb going on inside my body, I feel like.
If you're lucky, it'll just all collapse at once. It's that like back surgery today, a knee surgery tomorrow, and it just whittles you down. That's that part I don't like.
So you are 39 years old, Ian?
Yeah, bitch. Dirty 30, flirty 30, bark, bark, bark.
Ian, so just a lot of the audience that's listening to this show already knows who you are, thanks to all the support your channel gives my show, and I appreciate that. But for the few people listening that don't know who you are a stand-up comedian, you are a podcaster, an entrepreneur, and you are the host of With Apologies every Sunday that Lane is on. It's the show that we promote every week here. You can catch it on YouTube live every single Sunday on the Ian Ellis LLC network. So Ian, you're all these things, and how did this all begin for you?
I'm also an animator.
Story.
I'm also an animator, so please check out my channel, Philip Wave. The latest show is called Shop Failed. It's about
I
Brennan
seen that.
Schaub. What'd
Shop
you think?
Failed. I liked it, man. I liked it. I didn't know you make that shit. I thought that was lame too. Like when I first found out about you, when you guys had put me in the Viva La Scam video, I was really curious to meet you because you were that channel was the first video I'd ever been seen by that many people for anything. So I was like really intrigued to meet you, and then I found out that it wasn't you.
You telling me they got more views than SCUMTOWN?
That also was at the time where I had no idea that SCUMTOWN was as big as it was. So it was well, I did, but when I'm talking about seen by that many people, I guess I'm talking about YouTube. Like SCUMTOWN released my episode on YouTube a few times, and it got like taken down and for copyright infringement. Like Mullen had it taken down. Mullen, my episode Scumbag Vinny was so anticipated when it came out. He released it on Patreon and then also released it as a regular episode.
That's what's up.
And then I guess like people were stealing the episode and posting it themselves on YouTube, and it was fucking with his numbers bad because everybody was just finding it on YouTube.
They just hated you so much.
Dude, they hated me so fucking much. They wanted to hear every bit of it, and then I think they ended up loving me after that.
This is a weird catch-22 that SCUMTOWN is in, where their show is very clippable, and it has a massive audience. But everything they do is bootlegged and put out. There's like 4 or 5 channels that are like SCUMTOWN Premium. Every episode of SCUMTOWN. I've bleeped out the stuff that keeps getting it pulled down. SCUMTOWN Censored, SCUMTOWN Uncensored.
Right.
And it's a turnkey industry, but at the same time, while it's like taking money out of their pocket, it's also making them massively bigger than they otherwise would have been.
There's a guy out there, channel on YouTube, Steven Seagal. I don't know if you've ever seen that channel, and he clips a lot of SCUMTOWN stuff, and it's a very popular channel. And he has clipped multiple videos of me that have reached over 250,000 views. Like he's clearly earning off of me, and I've talked to him before about doing animation work for me because I think it's brilliant. I think it's funny stuff that he does. But he's found a way to monetize me from SCUMTOWN. I'm some of his most popular videos, and his most popular videos about Joe Rogan with all the SCUMTOWN clips of them talking about Rogan, and a lot of that's me talking about him too. So I'm in like this video, another video where there's almost 500,000 views about me talking about Joe Rogan, and it's just this kid playing video games while he's listening to SCUMTOWN.
I love it when people either clip or do like reactions to our show because. Like we did a documentary on this guy Rollo Tomasi, right? We put it out. I think it had maybe 1,000 views. Like it's really funny. We're all really proud of it, but it just wasn't doing numbers. This other dude whose name is like Black Ice Rock or Black Thought or some weird shit. He puts it up. He's got 24,000 views on it, and I don't know what the difference is between his channel and ours. Like like what's the secret to his tag game, but thank God he took it because he fucking won. He went and scored the touchdown pass with the fucking video.
The internet's weird, man. But aren't you grateful it got out to that many people at all?
Yeah, man. Like I just want it to be seen. But
how did you get into all this shit? How did you get into all this shit? Let's not get off. I want to hear this business. How did you start in this entertainment
comedy?
We know. Yeah.
Let me give you the very short. Well, we'll step back a little bit. When I was like 20, my parents were like, go to college or move out. Those were my options. And the chick I was dating at the time was going to this university, and the state university was right down the motherfucking street. And so I said, I'm going to apply for that state university. I had no desire to go to college, no direction. I'm a very aimless person. And my father, he goes, you go to school. By the time you get out, I'll have a little bit more money. I'll pay back your student loans. Like, don't even worry about it. Just go there and get good grades. You go, all right, bet. I go off to college. Me and that chick break up immediately. And then I meet what would become my first wife. And while her and I... Yeah, I'm on my second one right now. Hopefully there'll be a third one in the bag. Don't tell it. What?
So this is the short version of how you started comedy. We're starting from your college days.
It actually plays in.
I'm just kidding. But he's like, let me give you a short version of it. So in middle school,
born in 1981.
Yeah.
I always think 3 steps back. Believe me, I would like to tell you about my father. That is an integral part to understanding. But we'll skip over that. My introduction to comedy was while I was married, while I was off in college. I started writing for a local college comic strip. And I've always been a funny person, but I didn't know there was a way to be a comedian. I thought you just were funny in real life and someone would tap you on the shoulder like, hey, man, you're pretty funny. You want to be on Tonight Show? Like, I had no fucking clue or ambition to be a comedian, right? So I'm doing these comic strips, and then I get in touch with one of my friends in Chicago. And him and his buddy are writing screenplays, and they've started doing stand-up comedy. I go, yo, motherfucker, I love comedy. Can I write these things with you? And so we start writing sketches together, like Focus CDS, shout out to the Wiggers. And we're writing movie scripts and blah, blah, blah. We're getting into the mindset of comedy. I find out that my first wife is finna cheat on me, or is trying to cheat on me. She's contacting an ex-boyfriend.
What? Oh, my God.
Salacious emails, terrible stuff.
Salacious emails,
yeah, calling me all kinds of bitches and motherfuckers. So me and her get into it, and basically that ends the marriage. Now, I'm at the end of my rope when this happens. So I go off to a bar, and I'm trying to find some booze, and they have an open mic there, and the bartender tells me he'll give me a beer and a shot if I go up. So I go up and I go tell the story about me and my wife.
Hold on, I'm not interrupting you, but dude, this story I've heard this many times in the comedy business, and you literally were on Davy Jones's pirate ship, and he took your soul as you were becoming a comedian. Like, you were so down on life that comedy basically offered you a second chance at something, right? I mean,
I was basically at the point of killing myself. And when I went up there, I got that validation from the audience, and I felt like, oh, I still have value. Maybe I don't have to off myself. Maybe there's a redemption arc for me. Plus, I'm too pussy to kill myself.
You're trying to tell me that comedy saved you from killing yourself.
I don't know how much that is the case and how much I was just too much of a pussy to kill myself. But the story I'm going with is...
you had those thoughts, and comedy was started at the same time that you were having thoughts like that.
Right.
Even if it wasn't something you were entertaining seriously, you were having suicidal thoughts at the same time starting stand-up. I gotta be honest, man, that's probably the most interesting part of the story that I've heard so far. So, the reason I asked why you got into stand-up, of course I want to know your story, and I think if you're down to come back on the show, we have plenty of time to get into all of our, fun stories and things. But the reason I'm asking is I'm hearing that your show is coming to an end, that, you're turning 40, you want to quit comedy. And right away, I was trying to hear your story to dissect why. And just to hear that, my question to you is, do you feel like at any point you might owe it to comedy to keep going, since it did give you your a second chance at life in a sense.
I don't know these motherfuckers a goddamn thing. You have any idea how much comedy has cost me? My fucking soul, Vinny. I gave my soul to comedy.
So anyway, now I was talking.
Hold on.
Okay, go ahead.
I come back to Illinois. I was living in Baltimore at the time, and all my friends are either married, except for my buddies that are doing stand-up comedy. So I start palling around with them, trying to immediately find some pussy, and they bring me into the world of stand-up comedy. And as a person who has no direction, who felt valueless, I was like, I'm gonna do this. She'll see. I'm gonna be a fucking comedian. Yeah. And that became my entire life.
Yeah, just how you said that made me cringe, but that's okay.
This is like the honest side of it. A lot of people do the same thing, but they'll sit there and they'll romanticize it and pretend like, well, I discovered my gift and I began to flourish and figure out who I am for the first time. I'm purely out of spite that I started doing this. God damn it.
So where did it go wrong? Like, let's fast forward to like the good part. Where the fuck did you feel it went wrong? Because I have failed more than a lot of people, and picking myself back up almost got me to a bigger place the next time. So where did it go wrong, and why do you feel like you can't do that?
Well, I feel like I'm a dinosaur from a bygone era, and that's the kind of comedy I am. Like as I got into it, I started worshiping this tough crowd, O&A, Patrice O'Neill, Greg Giraldo, the real ass fucking dudes. You know what I'm saying? The real comics that kept it rizzity real. And I romanticized it, and I breathed comedy like it was a religion. I was like, there are rules to this shit. There are levels to this shit. Either you do this or you're a fucking punk. And if you're just out here and you don't have a point of view, then you're a trash comedian. And because I was like dedicated to this idea of edginess and realness and whatever, I just kept upping the ante. And it's like, it's like you can't get your dick up anymore, so you gotta get freakier and freakier and freakier. And now I'm at a point where I'm like, have I become the bad guy? Like, did I lose myself and go way past, what should be considered normal? And so I would like to stop and regroup because I feel I may have gone so far past the line that it's time to maybe come back and reevaluate what we were doing out there.
Okay. Well, the one thing that I would say is that in 14 years, I have done what you're talking about many times. That's not quitting. That's regrouping.
Dude, I am so fucking... You have any idea how hard it is for me to go out and do stand-up? Not only the time, but I am a fucking pariah. Vinny, on the first episode of this show, you said you know what it takes to make it. Can you articulate that for me? What does it take for all the people that still have dreams in their eyes? What's it take?
As a stand-up comic, you really have to be... I mean, obviously, it's going to sound cliche to say you really have to be funny, but 90% of the people that call themselves comics aren't funny, so that's step one. And if you're not funny, you have to be willing to do it for the rest of your life and suck until you are funny, because it will happen. There will be a change.
You are either lying or full of shit. You want to go ahead? You said what? Go ahead.
So, in the 14 years that I've done stand-up, about 75% of the shows that I've ever done are self-produced shows, meaning that I was never booked very much. I would produce my own gigs. And in that 14-year period, I have watched careers end and grow at the same time. I've worked with a lot of the same people over that period of time, and I've helped some people go to certain places, even if they didn't have all the talent. I've literally helped them manifest great things. And the biggest tragedies are the folks that didn't listen to me. And through all of those experiences and all of the talent relation experience that I've had, whether it is with open micers all the way up to like the Artie Langs of the world or whatever, and then add in all the experience I have as a performer myself and the experiences that I've been through, I feel like I have put together a blueprint on how to make it as a comic. It's not going to be something I can give you 2 or 3 sentences on, but I think it's a great question. And a short answer would be that, you know, in order to make it, you have to have that never give up mentality is a big part of it. So that's why I'm so set on wondering what the fuck you're trying to accomplish by quitting, but regrouping makes more sense to me because it could be a 5-year regroup. It could be you never come back at that point. But at the same time, I've taken 6 months off many, many times. I'm actually in a regroup period right now. And really, for me as an artist and somebody that I don't treat it like I'm an artist. Of course, I don't look at it like that. But as an artist, as somebody who creates, you know,
as a creative,
right? That, you know, sometimes you need to do that to kind of go back to the blueprint. Because I'm more of a strategic kind of person where, you know, there might be comedians out in New York doing 7 sets a night, but I make 2 big moves in business, and I've cut like 5 years ahead of their career just doing that, you know. And I was doing those kind of moves for a long time. And so I kind of knew every way not to be. I learned every way not to make it, bro. You know, I met this guy, Talent Harris. He's a legendary comic in New York City. He's been on all kinds of TV shows and Def Jam and shit like that. And he told me, don't let the money fuck you up early on in the game. He gave me amazing opportunities. And he said, don't let the money fuck you up. And the money did fuck me up. Because I wanted to make money for my family doing this. And there are no guarantees, right, in comedy. So
you answer every question like you're pitching the movie of your life. Like, you sound like you have tears in your eyes, and you're like, let me tell you something, kid. I fought for it. I bled for it. I ran for it. I took it down the mother. I've seen the trials and tribulations, and I have the blueprint. I have it. It wasn't easy to get, but I met a one-armed man.
I feel like Nicolas Cage in National Treasure, bro. I mean, I found the fucking Constitution. I fucking took, you know, Q-tips and wet the back and found the map. Right. And, you know, I found the fucking treasure, bro. I mean, Justin Silva's a good example of that. And you know, the kid that we were talking about a few episodes ago, he's a perfect example of that. He's somebody that's not very funny in stand-up at all. He doesn't have any kind of stand-up.
You're a bastard to your core. Say something nice about that boy right now.
He's a funny kid. He just didn't know how to translate it to the stage because he was too busy trying to be Michael Jackson.
Just fucking backhanded as you could be. You won't let him up for a second.
But
you're like me dealing with my underlings. I'm like, no, I'm not taking my knee off your neck.
There is one thing that will help you make it, and it is The Secret. And I don't know if you're into The Secret at all. I don't know if you're into The Secret. You know what The Secret is.
Don't fucking do bits with me. Shut the fuck up with your joke. All right.
I'm serious.
Here's the more interesting conversation I want to have.
Lane.
Don't acknowledge him, Lane.
Oh my
Just
God.
ignore him. All
right, you're gonna ask me a question. All right, go hit me with something.
Well, this is part of the wisdom and the beauty of you, because you're not a bad influence. You're a tremendously good influence, particularly for independent artists. So I would say, if you want to make it, what you got to do, it comes down to you got to be in the right place and you got to hang the fuck out. You got to hang. You want to be in New York or LA. And if you can't, if that's just not in the budget, then you need to be at a comedy club, because comedians don't work at bars. They work at comedy clubs. And that is the opportunity that will bring you into contact with working comics, road comics, TV producers. And when you hang the fuck out, you eventually get worked into the system. And that is a guaranteed way to have a career. At my age, with a family.
It is, but you know what though, man? The tough thing is, and this is like, I just got done managing a kid that is taking that route. And I have no problem talking about him, because when I say I was his manager, it wasn't something that he like publicly went out there and said, but throughout his career as a comic, he came to me for all his advice. And he's a New York City comic, and he like is still grinding every day in the city. And he pigeonholed himself so many times, dude. You can pigeonhole yourself when other men have their fate in your hands. And all I was trying to do with this whole Ian Ellis pitch thing is try to explain to you that you can go that route no doubt, my brother, and make it. But there are things I've learned about this business to prepare you for the worst case scenario, meaning that if you have your ducks in a line, you as an independent artist with 100 views on a podcast or 10,000 or 10 people in an audience or 500 will make like a living. Like, and you don't have to make a full-time living. You have a good job, but like you'll make extra money and you'll have more professionalism and more people will demand you because you're delivering a product that is you. It's you.
Well, that is the other.
Do you feel like you're getting scammed yet, Ian?
This is what's good about Vinny is, Chicago is one of the most hyper segregated fucking states. All right, black side, white side, and the comedy scene is also segregated. And what I learned going into the black side is black people make their motherfucking money. Open mic comics are making more money than headliners in fucking in LA.
Isn't that crazy?
Because they know how to run their own show. Like even Nick Mullen said, like when he found out how much money was being exchanged and what percentage he was getting, he was furious.
Yeah.
He's like, never again will I work with someone that's going to handle my career for me.
Oh, of course. Listen, man, I'm just trying to say, and the truth is, bro, the whole Vinny Beedle scam thing came from me trying to get something for the knowledge I have, and I was trying to get it by having people fucking pay me to tell them what to do and tell them how to do it. And I realize now that if I put it out there in a more public platform, for free, that, good things may come my way when people realize that I do know what I'm talking about. And you hit it right on the head. And, black folks, of course, they run their own shows because they know white men are fucking sketchy and we're going to keep their money. So they got to do their own shit, right? But at the same time, I've worked for amazing black promoters that, I'm performing for 300 people and I don't make any money because I'm white. So they just get me on the show and they know that, I want that crowd and that crowd does something big for me. And I did shows like that for a long time. As a matter of fact, what a lot of people don't know about me is the first 5 years into comedy, I worked full time and I funded all of my own trips, and I would perform and open. I toured with people from MTV's Wild 'N Out and BET and shit like that. And I was in the urban comedy scene, and I opened up for Paul Mooney, and I opened up for Rip Michaels, and I opened up for people that are really big in the comedy world that were not paying me but let me go on the shows, and I'd fucking kill the shows, but I realized that I was never going to get paid. You know why? Because I was too afraid to ask them for the money, and they knew I was earning it already. So there was already a bridge where they were like, they only have me there because I'll do it for nothing.
Now here, Vinny, is one of the interesting things. Why do white people fuck themselves out of the money? And I think it's not knowing the difference between integrity and self-destruction.
Dude, most comedians don't know business.
Most comedians are artsy-fartsy, lonely kids with broken hearts, and they feel like hustling to get ahead. Like they feel like you're supposed to just be great, and then someone hands it to you.
No, they actually look at it like what I do. Yeah, like what I do is wrong in a sense. Like they have to. We all are supposed to sit in the dugout and wait for coach to come tell us to come in the game.
Because to do anything else is considered icky, because it's like, oh, what are you trying to make? Oh, you're trying to collect the money? I thought you was an artist.
Not to keep the baseball analogies going, but I was always the kind of kid, rather than wait in the dugout for the coach to put me in the game, I'd rather take a baseball and go throw it up against the back of the dugout by myself. At least I was doing something. That's how I feel about it. Like, at least I might have done shows for 30 people on nights where maybe I could have been in New York, earning my way as just a pure stand-up, not trying to produce nothing, but I was making money. I was doing something myself. I was like, man, at least I'm doing something. At least I'm doing it, because, a lot of people are out there waiting for it, and I'm out there trying to go get it. So that's a huge thing, man. So you don't always have to go produce your own show, but nowadays there are many, many different ways to bring in revenue streams as an entertainer. And so if you have those kind of things lined up along with your job, every time you step on the microphone and do like a radio show or a comedy show or anything like that, you're going to feel like it's only giving me a chance to make money with that, right? Like, damn, I can't wait to get on the radio, because if I throw out a banger this week, it might bring me to that next step of actually making money doing this,
Well, I'll tell you something, Vinny. When I started, a lot of this social media and technology didn't exist. iPhones didn't exist when I started doing comedy. So going on stage, this
What year
primitive
did
thing,
you start? What year did you start?
Nigga, I have no idea. I'm sorry, I called you the M. I have no idea.
Lane, I called that, by the way.
He did see it. He was hoping that you would do that.
There's your
Put
drop
it
right
in
there,
the
bro.
Put it in the
Yep, there's your drop, bro.
But comedy was a way to get instant feedback. Like I used to write, and as a writer, it's pulling nails to get anybody to read your shit because motherfuckers don't want to read. Like art's a little bit easier. People will look at a picture, but stand up is immediate, and it's strangers, and it's a reaction, and you can basically take them hostage. They don't they don't get to have any say in the matter. You sprung it on them. Now that we live in this digital age, particularly with Philip Wave, as I'm learning these new technologies, I'm finding there are other more interesting ways for me to express myself to where I don't really feel like I need to do stand-up anymore because I don't give a fuck. I would rather do these other things and while out.
You know, it would actually be it would haunt me to grow a radio show with Lane and have you guys promote it for me and then have, you know, your channel just up and disappear and like then your show's gone. And then so like if you're not doing stand up full time right now anyways and you're not getting booked all the time right now anyways, you quitting stand up and having no gigs is like you quitting a job that or like you're like quitting a lemonade stand but nobody ever came to get lemonade. Like
Yes.
so you're not really quitting, bro. Like, you know, like if you had a full
That's
schedule,
right.
you're
I'm
like, I can't handle this
failing
more.
out. I'm
No.
washing out of the program of stand
you're
up
not.
comedy.
Because you met me now. And that's a big change. You met somebody that's going to hold you accountable, even if it's to perform once every 6 months.
Ian, you don't understand. Vinny is the new Ian Ellis, and you're the new Dante Nero. He's going to save you, put you back on track.
It's been a lot of reflecting. I never took my own advice until it was too late. I had all the stuff I know now was from me failing on my own and losing hundreds of thousands of dollars doing it. So,
all right. We both agree I'm quitting stand up. Now, would you like to hear why I'm quitting the show?
You're not quitting stand up or the show.
I love
and
all
I
these
have
people that
9 more
keep telling
weeks
me what I'm doing.
I have
How many
nine
people
more weeks
had this conversation with you?
I have 9 more weeks to prove him otherwise. I might make Ian an offer before he quits the show. There might be an offer made. There might be an offer. There might be an offer on the
money
table.
transfer. Offers mean nothing to me, but I see money in my bank account.
Well, if you accept the
That'll
offer, then that's what happens. What am I just going to send you money and then you quit anyway? Well, I'm not a dumbass.
Vinny, I have had 19 managers. Lane's the only one that's ever put money in my pocket.
Let me say
they
something.
They take me out to dinner. They wine me and dine me. It means fuck all.
You've had 19 managers.
People see me out killing it.
Let me just explain something.
They're like, hey man, let me take you out to
usually
dinner,
stay
man.
pretty humble with this, and you know, I chose Lane for a reason, so I know the kid is smart as fuck. He's probably smarter than I am. All right, so that's number one. Number two, I am a legendary manager. I'm not just some manager.
I don't know, man. Everybody you manage is in rehab. Like I'm too old to be on hard drugs. You understand what I'm saying? Like I feel like you're gonna be like, all right, Ian, I figured it out. You just gotta do crack. You just gotta kratom. 20 billion views.
It'll spike your production though, Ian. You can't lie.
Listen, I'm not gonna lie. If it's more of a reality personality you're going for over stand-up comedy, there might be some narcotics. No, I'm kidding. I met Artie and Bam when they were fucked up, and the fact that you just co-signed me and said that they're in rehab or coming out of rehab and staying clean is a wonderful thing. That goes to show that Scumbag Vinny, you know, had a positive impact on their life.
You just take credit for anything, don't you? There's a fucking mint on the pillow. You're like, I got that for you, Bam.
Let's just talk about fact. Let's talk about fact for a second. Number one, I brought Artie Lang to court, and he's been clean since the day I brought him to court. It's been almost 3 years, I think. So that's solved. That case is solved. If it wasn't for me, he'd still be in jail for staying, not showing up to court and just staying in a New York City hotel room blowing, dope with a lookalike all day long. So, that's number one. Number two, I have been literally communicating with Bam for a year straight as he's been in and out of these rehabs. and I have fought and convinced this kid to stay and go back when he's broken out.
I
So
think you're lying. I don't think you know Bam.
shut up.
See how quiet he got? You never even met him, did you? You've
I
been
was just
photoshopping these pictures this whole time?
You know how easy it is to get a look-alike of a bloated Bam? They're everywhere.
So another
Ian, why are you quitting?
Yeah, why are you quitting the show?
Issue I'll bring to the therapy table since I've been banned from my other therapist. When it started, there was this idea of like I was trying to make it as a comic, and then I was trying to make it with the show, trying to make it, which is very different from just hanging out with your friends. It's I'm doing a show; it has to be good. I want these particular to happen, and when you're dealing with retards that are stumbling over the things you're trying to make happen, it's very
Several
aggravating. and all kinds of personal miscommunications. Money and pussy fucking ruin everything.
That's true.
Anyway,
look, I'm not saying I've had horses that die in the race, man. I'm not saying that you're gonna be victorious. I might become your manager and you quit in 3 months again. Like I don't know. I'm shooting from the hip here.
Silver tongued devil like you. I'm sure you'll win me over. It's not going to take
weeks.
much.
I got 9 weeks left till the show's over, and I could pop in at your show for fucking 5 hours. So you'll literally have 40 more hours of me trying to convince you not to quit.
I want to be courted. I'm here. I'm winking at you. Come get me. Come get this big puss. You like this juicy pussy? Come get it. Come on.
Actually, this is probably Lane's least favorite version of you. Is like comedy, and he's like, "No, I was happy with him quitting." Actually.
I'm honestly used to confident Ian. It's pretty much 110% of the time.
Yeah,
even when he doesn't deserve it.
Louis J. Gomez was like, "Where do you get this unearned confidence from?" I go, "It's not unearned, Louis. I get 11 mixtapes. Suck my dick. I'm fucking great."
You have mixtapes like you did, like music mixtapes?
No, comedy mixtapes.
Oh, really?
I did new material every week for like 11 years. For 57 years, I did new material, and I'm as good as fucking anybody. Your polished shit is dog shit. You guys are fucking lazy.
Let me ask you something though. Like, where
no,
was
nigga, I'm telling a story. Stop interrupting my story.
There's two
fucking questions.
There's number two. Well, you welcome to scamming with Vinny, not the fucking Philip Wave radio with apologies. Fucking.
Oh.
All right.
Shit.
Yeah,
I
have a serious question for you. Know Bam. No, yeah, go ahead. Slip Bam in there. Put Bam in my drink.
Wow. If I put Bam in your drink, you'd be fucking knocked out for 4 days. That guy's
I'll tell you something. Toxic. Me and Bam are gonna fucking sneak off to Mexico and leave you fucking nerds at the skate park. Don't ever let me meet Bam. We will be fucking gone and spending his money together.
Imagine I could have had Ian quitting and then he takes Bam from me. He goes to Mexico and I'm just like, fuck, man.
We're tailgating the end of the world. Fucking senoritas and tequila for days.
Unbelievable.
So my friend CEO, he's like the real reason that I did with Apologies. It was his show, but I love him. Like he's as funny, I would say, as Patrice O'Neal. He's the only human I ever met where I was like, that's like what I get from Patrice. I get that from him, and he's just off the cuff, and I fucking love being around him. He quit the show. It was a huge like loss for me. Like it broke my heart.
Why did he quit?
He was going to school and he was talking to a girl, and he was just like, he was scared that if he kept doing the show, it was going to fuck up his real life. And so he was like, I have to choose real life right now. Like, it's important for me to choose real life. So that's what he did. He didn't have to be a bastard and ghost me and Lane afterward. He could have continued to be our fucking friend.
He could answer his fucking phone every once in a while.
He broke up with you guys like you were a bitch or something.
He ghosted us. He didn't break up with it. He broke up with Ian. He ghosted me.
Yeah. Anyway, that left me very, very disoriented because he had gotten me to the place where it's like, all right, well, even if I don't make it, I'm still doing this with my friend. Like, me and my friend are doing this. And then he's gone. I'm like, why am I doing this anymore? So I've been rather directionless since he left. And there have been moments where things have kicked up, like with Lupe Fiasco or with now with Brendan Schwab, where I'm like, this is exciting. I kind of like doing this. Like, it's amazing that we can be disruptive to the system. That's the part of this that really like gets my rocks off. But I
feel
also
the same way. I feel the same way.
I also get into this mindset. Like I did a stand-up joke where I'm like, SJWs ruin bullying because I can't tell which side of the fence I'm on anymore. Where I'm like I feel like I'm being a faggot, but at the same time, I feel like I'm doing
dude. But look
what
at the guys
what I
like
want to do.
look at SCUMTOWN, dude. Look at Artie. Who gives a fuck? You don't have to. I know what you're saying because especially comics. Like if you had a lot of people like in the comedy world you were talking to get like. You get gigs? Let me ask you that question. How did you get gigs, even if they weren't paying gigs? Other comedians.
So originally, this is a big piece of advice to everybody. When I was like 2 weeks into comedy, I discovered Mark Maron, and I started my own podcast, Chicago Open Mic, which was like an open mic version of Mark Maron's show. And my plan was, I'll do this for a while. It gives me a chance to talk to comics and like learn the craft and shit. And then I'll pass it on to someone else, and they'll pass it on, and it'll become an institution. And people that had their first interview on there as a nobody, when they're famous, they'll come back. And that'll be like a bridge that gaps like the open mic in the industry. It makes Chicago, the third coast rather than just that place where you get good. But nobody wanted to take the show over for me. And I got real tired of being in this position where people would suck my dick and pretend to be my best friend to get on the show. And then the moment the episode was done, they ghosted me. And they just didn't give a fuck about me anymore. I was like, oh, I'm just being used. Like I'm just a platform and you guys are just like treating me like a hoe. So I destroyed that podcast. And then I created a new one, the ianellis.podbean.com, where I do new material every week. Can't remember why I told this.
The question, and that's a great little story. The question is how as a stand-up comic did you get your gigs? How would you get your stand-up gigs?
Yeah, I was saying that's advice. Is when I was doing Chicago Open Mic, a lot of my gigs came from people trying to, court me and get on the podcast.
There you go.
So they're like, "Oh, damn, there's a little bit of clout to that dude."
There you go.
So my two biggest suggestions to new people are run a podcast and run a room. Also, I created open mic comedy in the suburbs of Chicago. I basically created the comedy scene that currently exists, and all of that came from my room. See you next Tuesday at Mojo's. And when I was running that, I was the king of comedy because everybody wanted to come out.
Let me tell you something. You know what you're talking about. You've lived the experiences, but let me just explain to you that what you said when you told me that you got your gigs from people trying to court you to get on the podcast and then give you gigs and stuff, all that is great and it's going to give you that experience, okay? But there is no plan B. There's no plan B when it all comes crashing down, Ian. And that
I got a wife and kids. Plan B is be happy.
Right.
Plan B is take my kid to the park. Trees? Okay. Have you seen trees? I've been shitting on trees for 30 years.
So you're talking to somebody that's also a dad and has a family. So we're not talking about that.
You must be a shitty father if you ain't having the experiences that I'm having. Come on, Vinny. Which side of the fence are you on? Are you team dad or team?
I wouldn't say that because I've been able to create financial freedom for myself through the comedy business to be able to spend more time with my kid. So I wouldn't say that. And I'm not knocking what you're saying. What I'm saying to you is what I'm trying to say is there are literal professional steps that you can take to ensure financial security for yourself in the comedy business. Here we go. Step one, like you said, running a room, doing that once in a while, provide yourself with income, more stage time, more opportunities to barter with other comedians, just like you do with your podcast to get more gigs. Number two, merchandise. Printing your own shirts and selling them after the show. You laugh at it, but at the same time, that is one of
that was not a laugh of acknowledgement. That was the entire comedy scene, which I created, has turned on me several times. I've been canceled like 5 times
by comedians.
And so
by comedians,
the day I do a motherfucking thing for an open mic comic is the day that I die.
You're not
I ain't running a room for you motherfuckers. I ain't doing
oh my god
shit for an open mic.
Running a room, Lane. Listen to him. He thinks running a room is running a room for other comics. I'm talking about running a room for people to come sit down and laugh, bro. What are you talking about right now?
Oh,
you are
fucking
so
Mother
focused on
Teresa
comics.
over here cares about
Oh
making
my
people
God.
laugh. You think I give a fuck about making people happy?
Well,
that
why would
ain't
you
what
get
being
into
a comedian. You're not here to make people laugh.
This is where Ian's delusions comes from. Now he's about to go on a philosophical rant for 34 minutes.
That's not going to happen. We're going to move gears.
Shift gears.
The ship is sinking. Water is coming in, and it's a beautiful ship, and you've built it. But there is like your buddies are on another ship, going, dude, just come on our fucking ship right now, and we are going to sail away and show you.
Sail away. Well, listen, Vinny. What I have ahead of me is I've gained 44 subscribers to Philip Wave this week. I'm almost at 1,000, where I can monetize that bitch, so I can make 4,000 episodes of Shab Failed and start getting a paycheck from that. And I also am interested in buying a computer and playing video games on the internet.
Those are all excellent goals.
It's a thing to do. I'm gonna play video games. I've been thinking about upgrading my life.
Well, I just don't understand how like playing video games or having a family mixes with your career choice or like what you're chasing with comedy at all. Because like you have 24 hours in a day and comedy is only done at night for 15 minutes. Like, you know what I'm saying though? Like I know you have to travel there and all that kind of stuff. Being sarcastic, but like I
want to do things well. I also want to like stop and take my time on things, because a lot of my stuff is rushed because I have the deadline of I want it done before the show. And doing shit for the show has become a very aggravating thing because I put in all this work to gather resources, make things. I have this big idea of what I want to do, and my audience doesn't seem to give a fuck. Like they would be fine if me and Lane sat there and talked about cats for 3 hours. They're not there for what I'm doing. They're just there to hang out with each other. So I'm like, well, then why am I rushing? Like, how about I just stop all of this? I'm just going to make the shit I want to make in the time frame that
you
allows
have a really good audience.
Well.
Like you do have a really good audience, even with Philip Wave and this channel. So it's like we
have a great audience, but
you don't want to lose them.
Genuinely don't give a fuck what we're talking about.
But they also want to hear you.
It's more fun to them when we talk about Kenny's belly button lint. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The hot topic.
But the show is going on, is what I'm saying. When the show stops, those people are going to be like, "What the fuck?"
Vinny, let me take you to July of last year. I got all up in the middle of Lupe and Royce, two of my favorite rappers, Eminem's best friend and 19 Grammy award-winning Lupe Fiasco. And I got them into a beef with each other where they were referencing me in raps to each other. And my co-hosts are literally telling me, we don't give a fuck, Ian. We want to talk about Ben Ashworth, a retarded 50-year-old. That breaks my heart, where I'm like, well then I don't need to fucking do this.
Me and Lane talked about this a lot.
I don't need to be with you people.
Literally, me and Lane talked about this a long time ago, and that's partly why Scamming with Vinny is even a podcast, because I literally was like, 90% of the people on your show don't need to be on your show unless you're bringing them on as a guest or in a segment. You know, like you just let people come in and fucking talk, and you know, of course you're gonna hate it.
But most of the time I like it.
I know that, Lane, but I'm saying Ian is an artist. So he's doing this work with Lupe and Royce, and he's getting ahead somewhere. It's exciting him.
Ian, where you fucked up with the Lupe and Royce thing is you just did too much too early. By the time you got
every time I logged on, it was all about Royce and Lupe.
It really was like a month and a half of the same. And
listen, it built to a crescendo, and
you were like a kid that got on Space Mountain at Disney. Shout out to Disney, by the way. And you loved it so much, you just kept getting back in line for a month. And by the end,
it's a very hard sell because my audience, like a lot of the internet, is 90% like Canadian white nationalist. I don't know where they come from. True. I think it's a psyop.
It's a part of our punishment for helping start the Proud Boys, Ian. That's the reason why we have to deal with that now.
Ooh.
So,
everywhere I go, it's fucking Canadians doing all the goddamn work on YouTube these days. They got all the hot takes. Ryan Long, Tom McDonald.
I did want to say that I'm not going to continue to badger you about like this stuff. I just do it, and I was saying it before the show, because of like the amount of respect I have for you, and I think that you're funny. So, you know, I just would.
You sound like a kid who's like looking down, kicking the dirt.
I am kind of.
You should look up to me. I'm better than you.
I do feel that way.
How did that feel? Come on, salesman your way out of that. Come on, alpha me without alpha in me. Come on, do your Buddha sales trick.
I gotta be honest, man. On stage, I'm very, very funny. I make people fucking laugh. So it'd
That
be
was
hard.
a lesson I had to learn. Was like, you have to be funny, and like I don't doubt that when you go up there, you fucking kill it. Like you do the job. Level 1 is do the job, be funny, and so big up to you for doing the job.
But I think you're funny as well, and we're fucking over here blowing each other about it. But like, don't quit, man. I feel like I'm trying to talk you off of like a bridge, and
I got
comedy did that for you. I know you're. You know what? And you're probably at a point too where, like, yes, I agree what you're saying. You wanted to kill yourself. You get into comedy. Now you have a beautiful wife. You got a kid. You got other hobbies you're doing and stuff. So you're happy. You can do other things creatively. You're happy, and that's all great. But from what I understand, you actually had opportunities to like actually make it. Like you were there a couple times. And
I've
doing
shot
it wrong and
myself.
still got there. You were
I've shot myself in the foot several times.
Okay, I have as well. I'm
Patrice O'Neill when he goes in for like a table read. I'm just like, ugh, this is what you brought me. This is comedy. Fuck you. Too good for this.
I think regrouping is a good thing for you if you're willing to still like listen and learn from your peers that want to see you do well with it, and that's me. And
well,
maybe
I'm just
Lane.
happy that Ian. Before, when I talked to Ian a couple months ago, he was gonna like leave society and go for a walk through the woods for an undefined amount of time. So the fact that he wants to like start a Twitch channel now and keep making cartoons, I mean, I really don't care if he quits.
Yeah, and that's not really quitting anything
videos
to me at all. You're still doing entertainment of some kind. I mean, from my understanding, exactly what I'm asking you is like the last few months we were, you're quitting. Are you just clickbaiting people, Ian?
There's a big part of this Ian's not talking about, which is our friend CEO, the old host of With Apologies. We all three came to the conclusion that stand-up's gay past the age of 40 if you haven't made it. And Ian won't let that go, and he refuses to do stand-up past the age of 40.
Oh, my God. I will have
I go
to do stand-up past 40. This is
Vinny,
it for
I go
me.
I go to an open mic, and it is the politest way I can put this is it's the alphabet. It's straight white men are bad, and I'm gay, and fuck you, and it's a lot of hot takes.
You haven't had 20-year-olds. You haven't had many like awesome experiences on stage for hundreds of people and stuff like that. Like, have you had many experiences like that?
Well, those are fantastic. It almost feels like play for a real audience.
Yeah,
like I'm like a Super Saiyan that trained under like 4,000 times gravity. I'm so used to fighting the worst possible odds to do well that having an audience, I'm like, oh, what is this? Oh God, this is actually great.
Yeah, so like when you have those moments, you don't go back to the open mic and just fucking soak it all
Vinny,
in.
do you have any idea how cancelable I am? do you know what you're up against? The best thing that could ever happen
he's talking
to me
to
is
scumbag Vinny. It's like I really don't understand. I'm totally the guy that he could be opening up to and talking to about this. We are so relatable in many ways. As a matter of fact, everything you're talking about that you like, how cancelable you are. Like, dude, look at me. People have tried to cancel me many, many times. It is uncancelable, and I think you can get to that point as well. Why do you think you could be canceled as well? Why is that a thing with you? Why do you have such a paranoia? You're like a prepper, a doomsday prepper to get canceled in comedy. Who gives a fuck? What do you mean canceled? There's going to be 200 people that listen to this.
There's a good point, Ian. How can you get canceled when you have nothing to cancel?
Yeah. This is just like him quitting, Lane. He's quitting a schedule that's empty. He's getting canceled by nobody. Dude, you must be like Andy Kaufman or some shit, bro. This must be a total. This is like I'm getting
no
played
idea.
Right I'm getting played right now, bro. You know this. You're gonna just do your thing and.
No,
from afar, I'm gonna keep putting like subliminals in your head and offer you little.
We're not gonna compete. I'm gonna blow you out of the water. That first Zelda stream, it's gonna murk your whole fucking.
I didn't say compete.
When Twitch finds out about your old podcasts, you're getting canceled for sure. There's no way you're not going to get canceled.
I would love to see you do some wholesome shit and get canceled later on. Yeah, that'd be great. If you try going wholesome with Zelda fucking streams and shit, and then later on they fucking find out, that'd be great. Because then I'd say, dude, you wasted your time. Come back to the dark side.
Go ahead, Ian. Try saying the N-word on Twitch. See how fast they kick your ass off of there.
I'm going to be behind a black avatar. my profile is going to say donate to BLM.
Can you use the Saiyans Entertainment puppet and just pretend that's you for the whole stream?
That's actually a funny idea. As my friend Cosmic said, like I am a well of creativity, and that doesn't go away when the show. I'm sure that I will come up with something.
When do you turn 40?
May 24th. We're gonna go through May, and then we're ending with apologies. And
what if I come to Chicago and we do a show that makes you change your mind about quitting before you're 40?
See, what's going to happen is you're going to be like, all right, Ian, we're going to do this show. And then it's going to be up to me to book the venue and then advertise it. And then you're going to be mad when literally 3 people show up and I'm going to have to do all this fucking work. And then you're like, you know what? I'm glad you quit.
I think we could get half a room, Ian. I think we could get half a room in Chicago one time. We have enough built up credit.
You know what?
People we don't actually come out to see.
David Walsh will come out to save you. We can live stream it too and collect money live streaming it. Like this is going to be the Save Ian Ellis. I will travel from Disney World to Chicago. Okay, and
so here's the.
You don't have to book the venue. You don't got to do. I mean, if you really don't want to do anything, you don't have to. But you should do something. Like you should help make it a success. But I will handle most.
Here's your Hail Mary pass. If you can get Pam, Louis J. Gomez has agreed to do Viva La Skanks with the Louis J. Gomez Bam crossover with Ian and Vinny Beedle. And that would be at the Laugh Factory. That's a smash hit. Otherwise, I'd say don't waste your money coming out here.
That's possible.
I have family in Florida, and I will be out there at some point. And it would probably be better for me to just do one of your shitty shows at Florida.
No, I got friends in Chicago that want to do a show for me, and they want me to come anyway. So you should just say yes and jump on something I'm already working on. That's number one. Number two,
I'm just telling you, I'm doing absolutely zero work. I will not be promoting this. I will.
I'll be promoting it. He doesn't know how to promote it.
Lane, exactly. Lane, you would literally do it for him.
Yeah.
Do you understand, Ian, that we have a YouTube channel with 4,000 people that think that you're the guy posting the videos? You know, like we don't need your permission.
He forgets that a lot, actually.
Yeah.
I try not to think about it.
And Bam will definitely do something like that, and that's a possibility. But realistically, and this is no bullshit, it will not happen no time soon. This guy's not getting out of rehab for a little while, and when he does, he wants to do shows with me. But he is filming a movie when he comes out, and I will be in that movie.
Is it Sling Blade? What the fuck is he shooting?
He is there's 2 projects he's working on. One of them is going to be an independent film that he puts out. That's the one that I'm going to be in. And I can't really say too much, but I know that he was telling me something about Netflix wanting to do a Best of CKY series with him, and you know he'll be filming that as well. So he's got some like big things lined up if he focuses on his health first, which he was basically using his phone a little too much and not paying attention in class. And when he was already supposed to be out, but they ended up extending it because he was just fucking around, you know. And they took his phone. I haven't talked to him in a while, but he'll do live shows, bro. He's so down to do live shows with me. That's what he wants to do. It's just that, you know, doing live shows straight out of rehab isn't really the smartest thing. For, you know, like
straight out of rehab, well, especially with me, because I'm just going to give him drugs.
But forget about Skankfest, man.
That.
I'm just trying to tell you, this is the thing too, man. Like, I get it. I get the Skankfest thing. That would be great. You know, I'm talking about me coming to Chicago with the equipment, a venue set up, you know, an intimate venue with 40, 50 people that my people worry about getting there. And you know, Lane wants to help. That's fantastic. And we put on like a little stand-up show that even if you suck, I promise you will have a good time laughing at me and earning a little bit of coin.
All right, Ian, are you going to let him say you suck? You have to do it now.
Like, what the fuck, man? I'm setting this up for you.
Vinny Beedle's saying he's going to blow you out of the water at his comedy show.
I gotta come to Chicago and shut shit down. Like
that would be fantastic. Put your money where your mouth is. Put your funny where your mouth is, bitch. I'm a gunslinger. I'll kill your whole family.
I gotta come to Chicago. I gotta come to Chicago and pick up like 100,000. Listen, I gotta come to Chicago and pick up like 100,000 McDonald's toys. Anyway, that's not even a cap.
You reminded me that two of my best friends growing up out here were their names are Mark and Aaron, and they were delinquents. And Aaron loves CKY. And so a big part of my childhood was watching fucking VHSs of him tackling people's like lawn ornaments in the winter and throwing bricks through windows and fucking crashing in a fucking shopping cart, almost breaking his neck.
Mm-hmm.
Where his brother Mark, on the other hand, he was the Vinny Beedle of the pair. I want to leave you guys tonight with a scam. This is a scam that your children can run. What Mark realized as a kid was that when the school would have him go out and sell shit, it was with raffle tickets and paperwork. So he went to the dollar store and he bought a stream of raffle tickets, and he went around and he went door to door and sold tickets to a lottery that didn't exist and just pocketed that motherfucking money.
That's sick, man. Wow. I'm actually honored Ian dropped a scam on us. That reminds me of when my sister needed a prom dress and my mom didn't have the money for it, so I put on my old baseball uniform and we went to Costco and got a bunch of candy bars. And I went around all the apartments near my house and sold like $300 worth of candy bars, and it wasn't even baseball season. You know, I told them it was for my team, and I just gave it to my sister and kept some cash. But I was a kid. I've been running scams that long, and I'm honored that you dropped a little scam story for us, man. That's legendary right there.
Ian, do you feel like you've ever scammed anybody at a comedy before you leave?
You know what my biggest scam was? We're actually coming up on the anniversary.
Joe DeGan.
Joe DeGan is coming for your neck. He's going to fucking kill you. Fear Joe DeGan, all right? Shout out to the homie. Joe DeGan has that good weed.
Does he really? Wow, he's the plug.
Also, shout out to the Happy Corner podcast with Kimberly Marion and Amy Blaze. Everybody go check that out. Plug my friend. Shout out to Not Cosmic Cam every Thursday night on the Not Cosmic Cam channel.
Is he just plugging like a fucking TGIF lineup on my fucking podcast right now?
20 minutes.
What the fuck are you talking about? He's like, go check out all my friends' podcasts. You're quitting in 9 weeks. Who gives a fuck? If
that's
your
his scam.
Yeah,
you don't get it, Vinny. That was the scam. He was going to trick you into telling a story, and he just plugs for an hour.
What were you? I can't remember what you were.
They go collect the dollar from everybody.
We were asking you about your if you ever scammed somebody in comedy.
Oh yeah, I was telling you when I went to record my first album. So I was an independent guy, and I realized you could self-produce albums. So I went through a promoter friend of mine, somebody I put you in touch with, and you said, Ian, the first thing I did was try to scam him out of $500. And I said, you know what? If you get him, he deserves
some
it.
Scumbag Vinny shit at that time. I gave him good advice, bro. You can ask him. I gave him real advice, and I didn't charge
Scumbag
him.
Vinny in touch with Scumbag Leroy, and I said, you two fight it out. You're either gonna make magic or you're gonna kill each other. I don't give a fuck. Shout out to Leroy Hits. So when I went to record my first album, I had my buddy Leroy set it up, and he sets it up at this bar. I don't pay attention to the outside world. Holidays. I have no idea what the fuck is going on. So he picks a date, blah, blah, blah. We put down the deposit, this, that, and the other. Turns out it was St. Patrick's Day. And I didn't fucking know that. And I am at a bar show. And so I show up and everybody is like, fucking, they're tanked. They're ordering like 3-course meals. And I bombed my fucking dick off for like 20 minutes. And then I walked off stage and I was like, give them all refunds. I'm out of here. What? And I left it to my friends to
sort it
finish
out.
Yeah, I was like, you guys do what you're gonna do.
What?
This ain't working out for me.
He ran.
Holy shit.
Well, at least there was 11 more mixtapes after that to make up for it.
That is not a scam, by the way, but that is a crazy story.
That's true. I don't know if that really counted as a scam, Ian, but
that is what started.
You got scammed by St. Patrick's Day?
What started the Ian Ellis podcast was I went and I started cutting together my open mics, and that is my first album that went out, was just a bunch of open mic sets cut together. And so that's an album, but then that became my mixtape style.
All right, so
And,
I actually think that this is a good time to end the show. We are going to end the show with a Scumbag Vinny scam. I feel like one little story might be a cool clip, or at least just to give to people, they're going to listen and say, well, this show's not about fucking scams at all. What does this guy really do? So I was working in Atlantic City for a few years doing stand-up shows, and when they first started a company down there, it was a comedy clubs. There's 3 comedy clubs on the boardwalk run by comedians selling tickets, and the guy didn't have money to buy tickets, so he bought raffle tickets. So you basically would sell the raffle ticket, keep half, the person would get half.
Vinny, this really sounds like my story, but you're retelling it as if it's your story.
Listen. It's not.
All right, well, I'm going to leave you to your lives. Peace out, gentlemen.
All right, you know what? Fuck you, dude. That's a good way to end it. Fuck it. I'll tell the story next week.
Something about raffle tickets. We'll get back to it.
We'll get back to it, Lane. Fucking get Ian out of here. He's not coming back. Ian, thanks for coming on.
Yeah, I think that was a good first appearance for old Ian Ellis.
Yo, that kid, man.
Like we were saying, on the Ian Ellis LLC for 9 more Sundays, you can listen to me and Ian Ellis on With Apologies, and then after that, we'll drag him back in here from time to time.
I hope so, man. I'm really upset about this, but I gave it my best effort. The truth is, Lane, and I really don't want to be harsh, but he was too focused on the show and not the business part of show business, and he that was his downfall. And every question I asked him, he avoided completely. It's because he knows deep down that those 19 managers weren't qualified. The only reason that you had genuine feelings when you came into it. You're like, I really want to help him. And that's why you did put money in his pocket. But everybody else was just busters. But Ian, thank you for coming on the show. The story that I had, the scam story, was fucking awesome. But it did sound very
similar. Yeah, just so we don't step on Ian's story, let's go ahead. Next week we'll tell a different raffle ticket story.
He goes, I'll leave you with your lies. Like in his mind, he'll always be the first to do everything. He's like one of those guys. You know what I mean? Like he's like, oh, now Vinny's biting off of my bit. Well, listen, a lot of scams. What can I say? A lot of scams. I've done, 40 scams. I have to do with raffle tickets. I can't fucking, not talk about raffle ticket scams because Ian said it. Like I've been doing this for years, bro. Oh man. All right. Well, hey, listen. How long we been going for? We're ready to rock out on this one.
We're at about 1 hour and 20 minutes.
All right. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, thank you guys for supporting the show very, very much. Go check out our last a couple episodes we dropped this week. It's been a busy week for us, and we appreciate the support. Go check us out interviewing Slobby Robbie from Slobby's World on Netflix. Check us out on episode 4.5. We just dropped a couple days ago. That's a little bonus clip of us interviewing TK, Terry Kennedy, a.k.a. Compton S. Terry's manager, about his whole debacle with beating a man to death. And check me out on Instagram at Vinny Beedle, on TikTok at Scumbag Vinny. You can go check out a video. I was kicked out of a thrift store this week. That was eventful.
That's right. I didn't even get to ask you about that. We'll have to bring that up with the raffle tickets. There's a whole bunch of scams we can get to.
Yeah, this was about Ian Ellis this week. He deserved that time, and I really like the kid, and I hope that he doesn't. Or that, like he explained, it's more of a rebound, like he's gonna take some time and refocus himself on things. So maybe that's not the last we have heard of him.
The kid's gonna be all right.
Yeah, that's good. All right, Mr. Lane. Until next time, I appreciate you, my brother, and we will see you guys again.
See you guys next Friday.